came to Sacred Heart at the end of 1999. It was in, I think, March of 2000 I was named pastor, so over 18 years.
I was born, in 1946. Came to Lorain, my parents came to Lorain, I was with them, I guess, when I was 6 years old.
I grew up in Lorain, Ohio, and what we used to call El Campito, which was Toledo Avenue, where most of the Puerto Rican families either built a home and lived there. My dad got a job at U.S. Steel, as a lot of the people that were brought here by cargo planes to work in the United States. Shortly after that, we had a business.
First of all, my family came here in around 1947. Dad got recruited to work at the steel mill. My mom came across the border when all you had to do was put a nickel at the border and you came across. Nobody asked questions, nobody asked you what your citizenship was, nothing. My dad was also Mexican, but he was born in Texas. So, but we did a lot of migrant work, and we followed the seasons, and we picked fruits, vegetables, all that kind of stuff.
There's 10 of us, brothers and sisters, 4 brothers, 6 girls. My mom didn't speak the language, so it became where one of us always had to be at the business with her.
If you don't know the language, you think everybody else is smarter than you because they get things. If all you hear is gibberish, you don't know what they want. And so they put you in a group, the non-smart group, I guess. And it took probably a year before we learned the language, actually.
Sure.
And so it was a difficult time when we were exposed to that kind of situation for mostly everybody that came at that time in the 50s.
Getting back to the church, 1953 is when I had my first communion.
Many of the same people that I went to school with, I went to catechism with, we made our confirmation together, and we all grew up in this parish. We were very active, even as young people.
We were very involved in church work. Community was very much Catholic, and so our parents had this thing that every night, 8 o'clock, everybody had to go pray the rosary. And the kid says, well, can't you stay out in places? No, we have to go say the rosary. So it was just like a big family, a block party that was always, it just didn't stop. So we enjoyed it.
I choose Sacred Heart Chapel because it was the only in Lorain County that has service in Spanish, a Catholic church, I would say. I remember coming, all of my kids got baptized here. I remember coming and people were very friendly. So right away I was feeling like I had a family.
It was in '85 when a professor from the seminary needed help teaching English classes in the summer. So I went down with him and taught the advanced kids English only in the classroom. And on one of those, I went 2 years, and one of those years he took 2 of us to El Salvador for 3 weeks, and it was right in the middle of the war. And so we saw lots of very impactful things. And I had a sense then that there was something in me that would like to do that. That was before ordination. Then I was ordained in '88, and after a year in ministry, I still had that. So that's when I applied. And so when I went to El Salvador, I really didn't know what the Lord had in store for me, but the experience was quite transformative in terms of connecting to a broader experience of the world and realizing the impact of culture. I had never been in a parish before that had so many people who were both politically and just socially active.
I was on the school board for 16 years, a little bit more. And by the way, the biggest thing that we did, that I thought we did as a school board member, was We got all new buildings for every school in Lorain.
We keep the parishioners involved. We keep our youth involved, and that is a big thing in a lot of churches. The youth just do not stay.
Cesar Chavez started the boycott back then. We formed a boycott committee here, and we boycotted the lettuce, the wine, and the grapes. And we even raised money for them. But I think that the biggest thing that happened with that was when Cesar Chavez came here to our church. Right here's Sacred Heart. They prepared a meal for him, and he actually went into the kitchen and was talking to the ladies, you know, that were doing the cooking and everything.
If you get involved in the politics, you don't have to be a politician, but yet you have the politician's ears if you need to have them, so that you learn the system and learn what you have to do if you don't like something, what you can do about it. Proudest moments is when you are able to work on campaigns and you know that the person that you're helping will make a difference. And my politics doesn't go by getting a Latino in a position, but a person that I know and feel proud of that will be in that position. But I felt that this year with Terry Soto as the Lorain City Treasurer, as the first Latina that became a politician, and I really knew that she'd do a good job, and we worked hard on her campaign, and she was elected.
The crisis that the undocumented immigrants are experiencing, something that has really called the differences into people's minds. The Puerto Ricans don't have to worry about that, and suddenly realize that people that they're worshiping with or eating with are in a situation where their family could be divided at any moment.
I've always been the champion of the people that need to be fought for. I was involved with the prison ministry, and we would take the word to the incarcerated. I had to dig down and really learn about my faith. And I had prisoners that actually knew the Bible better than I did. So it makes you wonder. My latest one is the compañero, or the companion to the undocumented. And that's going to help the immigrants whenever they need, if they're being deported, they're able to get some kind of help from someone who knows the system.
When I was detained and put in deportation proceedings, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't have no immigration lawyers at the time. I wanted some letters of recommendation so they can stop my deportation at a time. So during the 3 masses on Sunday, I went to the podium and I shared my story with the parishioners. And I asked them to support me, and I asked them to support my kids. After I finished talking, there was a line of people all the way here just to give me a hug. I didn't think that the church would have that reaction towards me. These people saw me volunteering and see me here, but I never thought that they were going to take the time, and more than 100. And they were coming to the office and dropping off the letters, and I was amazed. The fear of being deported. For years I lived under the shadows. And knowing that the moment I came up and asked for help here, that was my first step, here in Sacred Heart, a lot of community leaders got involved in my case. And they empowered me. They empowered me to continue. I don't have words to describe that every time there's something going on, people from this church are calling me just to check on me.
Many Catholics are leaving the church, and I think this is our future. There's The undocumented, they bring their faith with them, their Catholic faith, and they're lifting it right back up.
Our role is to stand with people who are vulnerable. I think especially as we've drawn in more people, we have an education role in helping people understand both culture and the issues that cultures face.
My secret to success is, number one is take risks. Number two, don't be afraid to fail. Number three, remember where you live, where you came from. Number four, give back to your community. But number five, and I think that's the most important, is do the right thing.
Interestingly, the entry for many people is not the door of the church. The entry is the door into the kitchen. So they'll start by volunteering in the kitchen for an event, and then they'll keep doing that. And then my goal is always to try to get them to do the distance between the kitchen into the chapel.
People look forward to getting their pastelillos and their loaded up tostadas after church. And it provides fellowship. And that's a big part of our cultural thing, and it's a big part of our church culture.
I think we're known as the hugging church, because people are not afraid to give you a hug here.
And I think the spirit moves in this church, and you can feel it. I've had many people that did not belong to this church or do not belong and have come to visit. They love the experience that they have here. Families come as a whole. I mean, you see generations of families, and you see people grow. You may not know them, but you recognize them. Year after year, we see all the children grow, have children, So we see generation after generation.
It's family. It's family because there's so many people here that you know and that you care deeply about.
I finally feel that I have a connection. That is not religion anymore. It is faith, what I have. Faith in God and faith that everything is going to be okay. And if things happen in my life that maybe I don't like, yes, there's a lot of things that have happened in my life. And I know that He wants me to do something good out of it, to take something good out of it. So
I've been with part of Sacred Heart since I was born. This is what feeds me, keeps me going.
This is our church. This is our home.